Alright, here we go. Hey, what is up guys? My name is Yoshi and today we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be pimping out my keyboard. Now the keyboard we're going to be pimping out is the Corsair K65 Mini, and it's not the best choice, but it is my daily. It's what I use every day. So we are going to be doing a whole bunch of mods into this one little keyboard. Tape mod, silicone mod, paint mod, strip foam mod, switch mods, lube mod, I think that's about it. If there's anything I missed, I'll put it at the end of the video. First step we're going to take is taking the board apart. Now I have the small screwdriver kit that is perfect for the screws on this keyboard. I'm also using the keycap puller that I got from the lube kit. Now it wasn't really working for me, so I used the original one that came on the K65 Mini, so it was working so much faster. After removing all the keys, I saved them for later. And here's the back of the PCB board. Nothing really special, but we're going to be soldering that later. Now for paint supply, we went for a blue, purple, pink type look. It just turns out amazing at the end. And now we're putting tape over the screw holes just so we don't put so much thickness, so when we're putting back in the screws. Now I also got vinyl for the branding, of course, you know, Yoshi, ItzYozhi. And on the paint here, we're gonna put a 2 paint of mismatch color to put the decal over. Alright, so here I started soldering and it wasn't really hard at all. The beginning was a little bit hard and challenging. It took me like 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to get used to it. But in total, it took me about 1 hour to actually finish the whole soldering. After soldering, this was the hardest part. I felt like was removing the PCB blade from the plate. It felt impossible and it was really hard. I was testing the switches, make sure if they still work, and there was some that I might have lifted the pads on, so there was like 4 or 5 that I needed to bridge. So that is for later on the video. Now, popping these little switches off the plate took me a while and it hurt so much. I felt like my finger were broken after this, but no, I was perfectly fine. And here we have them in the bag. Now, removing the stabilizers weren't that hard. They were actually really simple and they were actually still pre-lubed and they were not that bad, but it was still time to change them out. Here I'm brushing paint remover onto the plate, and this process takes me about 6 hours at the end of the day just because it was so much paint to remove. Once the paint was dry, I was ready to put the decal right over it, and I also put tape just to make it look a little bit nicer. Now the spray paint we're putting over this is a satin magenta, and it just looks beautiful after at the end. This is the reason why it took me 6 hours, was just because of me scraping the plate, and I regret it, but it looks really good at the end.
Oh wait, this is my this is the way I have to get the keyboard view. But yeah, it works. It works. Okay. So
just more paint on the case, and here is where we just start painting on the plate, and we're painting it hot pink. And just after this process, I am just dead. I'm just dead. Alright, silicone mod. This mod was actually really simple, and all I really did actually was just put silicone in the middle and in the edges, spread it out, and it was ready to go. It took 2 to 4 hours to dry up, but it was a very simple mod. Alright, so here we got the switches. I got these switches off Z-Kibs. These are the TKC banana split switches, and I got these switches for around 50 bucks, including shipping, and that was probably the best price I can honestly get them. And I also got this lube kit on Amazon for around 14, I believe. I'm not really sure, so I'll put it on the screen. I started lubing every switch one by one, and it took forever. I was lubing every single spring one by one. I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. Here's the hot pink plate, and it turned out amazing. Now the switches we're gonna put on are sadly 5-pin, so we are gonna have to be cutting them down to a 3-pin, and this part makes me very sad. So if I ever wanted to use these switches again on another board, I would have to make sure they support 3-pin and not 5-pin. So that's that. Now removing all the pins, we had to put some strings all around the board just so it holds up, because it kept falling, the switches kept falling off, so we put a little strings all around it. Now this process was probably honestly one of my most favorite processes, where it was the fastest and it was just the most easiest. Soldering was just really easy and really fast. This process took me at least 30 minutes to do. Now I'm testing if any of the switches work, because there are some switches that won't be working and I would have to be bridging them later on. This is what I did. I had to cut a piece of wire and just stuff it in there. I had to cut them half in the middle so it's not like spamming each other, of course. We had to fix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
6.5. For stabilizers, these are the Everglide Panda black, white, gold-plated plate mounted stabilizer because the mechanical keyboard plate YC66EO68 YC96 Wolmir, whatever. But these are the cheapest I could find and probably one of the best, and honestly I should have lubed them more. I didn't, but they still sound really good. Putting the board together, it just looks amazing after, and it turned out really good. Alright, so waiting for the silicone to dry for a while, I was ready to pull out the decal that was on the back of the plate. Now I'll try to give the Yoshi name a color wave of the keycaps, and I think I kind of got it, but it was a little bit off. Now here we're adding some tape onto the PCB board. This is a tape mod, and if you have a battery, use electric tape. Now this is strip foam, and I add this on the sides only, not anywhere else, just because I don't want to stuff it too much. Now the original keycaps of the K65 Mini are the same keycaps I'm going to be using for this build. For the keycaps I ordered, still haven't gotten here, so I painted these keycaps and they look so much better now. So I'm putting back in the screws and also back the grips that were in the back.
Alright, while putting in the last keys, W is supposed to be blue and A was supposed to be purple, and so now I gotta wait for these to dry up. So this is really hard to tell, but on the keyboard it says Yoshi. Here's a Y, the O, the S, the H, and the I. So
Now, of course you can't have a custom keyboard without a custom coiled USB-C cable. Like, come on.
Alright, so here we are, a couple days later, just testing out the keyboard, testing out how it plays, and it just feels perfecto. I mean, it feels amazing, and when I say amazing, it feels amazing. But one thing, the only flaws about this keyboard is the little paint job I gotta do right there again, and the keycaps aren't the best. So here we are. The keys that are actually supposed to be for this build, the keys I ordered for this build, are finally here. So here we have a blue spacebar, and the blue with this blue is not that off. Like, I went spot on. We got the shift. Now we also have the pink, which I did want a little bit darker on the pink, but hey. This is the last thing that is supposed to happen, guys. Holy, oh my. Now I gotta take this whole board apart. Holy, and fix the space bar.
My luck was just getting even better. Not only did I screw up a switch, I also received the broken keycap from the place I ordered, which was really sad. Now, the new keys, when I got them, the first thing I put on was the spacebar, and then when I removed it, it removed my whole switch. So now I'm here soldering it back on, and yep, that was my experience with these keys. At the end of the day, this thing just turned out gorgeous. It's amazing, and it's just time for a montage now. A beautiful montage.
Alright, so the amount I spent on this keyboard was around $237. The USB-C cable was around $25. The soldering kit and the lube kit together was $34. The stabilizers, they were $11, so that's pretty good. The banana split switches were $54. The keys were $21. Silicone was $30. The strip foam was $5. The paint supply and like the rust, not the rust remover, the paint remover, it was $54. And I think that's all. Oh, and a vinyl that I put on the back of these plates, those were just $3. All in total of supplies, it was $237, not including the keyboard. Now this is gonna be the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs like. Now if you guys want to see a specific build for a specific someone, like ItzYozhi or just any big streamer, there's a thing called clout. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Yoshi, and today we pimped my keyboard. Peace out.
Tell me out. 100 bricks on the road, took a couple routes. Flush mama house, her man's a Philly couch. I ain't really with the razzle dazzle. Knock 'em out, but then I throw 'em out the boat paddle. Go to Tijuana, put the kilo on the saddle. Sack 'em, hit a lick of